my name is Yvonne and I'm sharing my experience about my journey through HCG. First off, most of you probably have watched one video or another or know what HCG is, so I'm going to skip the whole protocol process and let you know how I got into it. I got into it because I knew somebody that went through the process and has looked great for 3 years. I remembered many years ago, I heard about it, and I was like, that's crazy. 500 calories? That is not healthy. So I moved on, and I was not into a person that chose to go on DIETs or DIETs. And so I believed in hard work, exercise, eating healthy brought you to what you look. And I felt like that for many years. And I've gone on the on and off wagon about eating healthy and exercising. However, last year, I got to the point where I gained 60 pounds in 2 months while I was eating healthy and exercising daily. And I went to my doctors after I became severely depressed. I didn't understand what was going on with my body. I was 26 at the time, and they didn't know. We talked about stress and reduction and working on stress, so I started to take acupuncture. It started to help, but my weight just continued to climb. So I was around 237 in September, and by the time it was February, when I saw my doctor again, it was 290, and we discussed about checking my thyroid and stuff like that, and it came back that I had hypothyroidism. However, she did not suggest any medicine because they wanted to monitor it. So I felt frustrated again because it seems like there's a solution to taking some thyroid things, but I understood that it could be regulated because of stress in your life and things in your body can change from month to month. So I talked to my other doctor and heard about the HCG that the staff had done, and I was interested. I wanted to do something. I just could not just sit another 3 months just to see what my thyroid was doing. So I heard about the HCG, researched it significantly online through different websites, different charts, people's experiences, testimonies, both sides, saying it's terrible and awesome. So I wanted to really research it. So I spent about 70 hours over the next long weekend to make sure if this is the right choice for me. What I came down to was that yes, seems like it's a bad idea because it's low calorie and it hurts your metabolism and it could affect your muscle mass. And I looked at the positive side. It's, quick. Things can be simplified of what you can eat. And it's quick. So I made the decision that I was going to try it, even though it seemed complicated at first because of the whole mixing thing and how do you get started, where do you get it, those kinds of things. So that's how I got into HCG and decided to do it. I found out that my local compounding in here in Washington is about $150. That's just for the HCG, whereas you can go inside the mall and buy it for $500. So I was financially strapped, so I was like, I'm not going to the mall, and the key compounding would take too long to get the order processed, and so I decided that I was going to source it somewhere else. I had a planned trip to Mexico and started researching people who've bought in Mexico. Is it good? And is it worth it? How much is it? And because I know people were going, what's the difference between drops and HCG injections? And after review, I've decided I wanted to do injections. And so I went on websites trying to find some names what they called it in Mexico, the prescription drug. was not needed in Mexico. You didn't need a prescription in Mexico. You just walk up to a pharmacy and just say, hey, you got this? In Spanish, of course. And so I went to Mexico. It took me 3 days to go around pharmacies to find out what it was had changed to, or what they had available. And it was pretty cheap. So it wasn't even a third of a price here from my doctor's compounding. And stocked up on it in Mexico and started it in Mexico. All my supplies, in the mixing supplies of syringes, costed about $17. And it was a little difficult, but I'll talk about that. If you decide to get anything in Mexico and bring it back to the States and wondering how to mix it, I'll do another video for that. So I started in Mexico because I figured that my metabolism would be a little higher because of the, Washington compared to Mexico weather is way different. And so I decided to start there. So I loaded 2 days, and so my starting weight was 296. And to hear the rest of this, if you want to know how round 1 went, I have another video. So I'm trying to keep these videos short.